Hey there! Welcome to Chief's Shop and to Hey Chief, where I answer your questions about my projects and woodworking in general. Today I've got just a couple of questions, so we'll jump right into it with the first one on protecting a table saw. Question is, what if anything do you use for a protectant for your table saw table? And I have a combination of a cast iron and aluminum wing table top here. So I just use a paste finishing wax a couple times a year as a protective coat. I wipe it on and wipe it off. The first thing I do on the cast iron is I take a buffing pad on an orbital sander or a little detail sander, and I go through and I just work off any rust spots or rough areas. I don't have an air-conditioned shop, so when it's really hot, I tend to sweat a lot, and if there's an errant drip on the cast iron part that I don't catch right away, it will rust up, and I'll have an issue there. With the paste wax on it, that'll bead up, and it's a little bit easier to take care of. One kind of side note on protecting a cast iron top is never lay any treated lumber on the cast iron, because you will get some unsavory rust lines going across. Personal experience, I know, I've done that, let it on there a little too long, and you'll have a reaction there that's not pleasant. But you can easily buff out any imperfections on the cast iron, and then coat it with the paste wax. Even on the aluminum, it allows things to slide pretty easily. Particularly if you use sleds. I have a crosscut sled that I use, and it will go much easier. Work into your slots too as well. That'll help with any runners that you've got for any jigs going in that, and make sure you buff it out plenty. I also use the paste wax on various other moving parts, and on my pocket hole jig here I have mounted, I use it here on the plunger there in the rod, and it allows it to slide a bit easier through here. If you get an accumulation of material in there, that can cause it to kind of slow down, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you've ever used this, if you have any sticky points in there. But clean it thoroughly and then apply paste wax in there, and that'll allow it just to have a nice smooth movement there. The next and last question this time is about hardware for small projects. I'd like to know where you can buy nice hardware for jewelry boxes and such. I just built a nice pirate's chest and I can't find hinges and hasps to suit it. I build a lot of small boxes and never can find nice metal parts for them. You can go into Lowe's or Home Depot and find bright brass specialty hinges. Big variety there. You can look at Woodcraft and woodcraft.com. Look on their sites, or their site, and in their stores for the specialty hardware. Rockler is another example. Lee Valley. There are a lot of online opportunities there, but you should, if you have access to a Lowe's or a Home Depot, you should be able to find the appropriate hardware there. I plan on building something like a pirate's chest for my nephew coming up, so I'll be looking for some hardware there. But just do a little searching. You should be able to find it. I don't know where you're looking and what problems you may have had finding them, but I think that they've become more and more readily available. Again, the specialty places such as Woodcraft and Rockler for those parts. Again, you're going to pay shipping for anything you order online. You could even try looking on Amazon and seeing what you could find there. But go with the trusted sites, I think, for this, and you'll get a quality hardware that way. You don't want something that's going to bend easily, or the finish is just not the quality you're looking for. Again, the Lee Valley, Veritas, the Woodcraft, Rockler, you're going to be able to find what you're looking for. It'll be a bit pricier than, let's say, the brands you're going to find maybe at Lowe's and Home Depot, but the quality will definitely be there. And I haven't had any problems with things I've gotten from Lowe's or Home Depot. Having worked on Lowe's projects for years and using the hinges and clasps and things from there, they haven't been an issue. You want to be careful with the small brass screws that come with some of that hardware. Definitely drill a pilot hole for that, and I like to use a paraffin wax on the threads of the screws. When driving those in, it just allows it to go in a little bit easier. You can really snap off a head of some of those screws very easily, even by hand, because they're so small. So any way you can allow those to go in easier, lubricate them, or even with the pilot holes, that'll help a lot. Well, I hope you found these tips useful and helpful, and I encourage you to email me or post something on my Facebook page or my blog with a question. And like I always like to say at the end of these videos, time to get off the computer, get out in the shop, and make some sawdust.